UBI. Screaming that from the mountaintop for the past year and a half, 2 years.
2 years.
They even have a cartoon on Fox called Universal Basic Guy. Why do you think that is? They're getting everybody prepared to be on universal basic income. They were paying these guys in the cartoon, they were paying these guys because they lost their job to automation, AI.
Wait, that was in the show?
That's in the show.
No.
They lose their job to automation. They get a check from the government and it's all about them just sitting on their ass and getting into adventures.
All we have to do is just watch the shows.
TVs, movies, cartoons, it's always there. They do it, they tell you before they do it.
Literally.
Why did Fox roll out that cartoon and now they're talking about UBI? Now they're doing stimulus checks? Now they're doing, because even Elon's talking about not universal basic income, but it's universal high income, which is just another fancy word for UBI.
What do you mean universal high income?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, so you just... Okay.
It's the same thing.
Same thing.
Like,
all right.
Oh, we're going to pay you more to do X, Y, and Z, or just be dependent on us, and that's it. Because universal basic income sounds basic. So let's change the word. Universal high income. Oh, that sounds better. They're always changing these words. Same thing they do with Agenda 2030.
Talk about it.
Agenda 2030 used to be Agenda 21. For that, it was the plan for sustainability. They keep changing these words, but it's the same thing. Same playbook, different cover. They're doing the same thing again. Pretty interesting. And with AI, within the next 5 years, the number keeps changing, but they project now, within 5 years, is going to affect over 200 million jobs.
So when I looked at this map, I thought something was very interesting because this is an old world map. And I just thought that was interesting. Yeah, that. Which is basically Black Rock, which they removed off the map. And you can just see because it has the river streams that are flowing to it, and you can see there's something here in the center. Oh, look here again. This is where everything is. Then all the way up here, you got that, which definitely resembles this Black Rock, which would be here on the map, just like it's here on the map. So where did it go? As you can see, it disappeared. It's not here. It should be right here in this spot. In this spot, right here. But unfortunately, it's not like it is on the old map. Also, Tartaria, I thought that was interesting. And then down here, this is actually connected to Antarctica. And if you notice, it's actually green. It's not icy. So we have to ask ourselves, where did an entire landmass go? Because we can see it right there. Right there. We can see it. Not only can we see it, peep this. It is at the center. Look. Look at these lines. Look at all the lines. Look at how they all converge. Look at the lines. Look at where they converge, right? Then just look straight down. Look. It is straight down on the same exact axis. Look, on the same exact line. So that right there is definitely, without a doubt, the North Pole, which should be here. Look at the crease of the paper. Look at the crease. Look at the crease of the map. Look at where it's at. Look at how it goes right down the center. Look, right off the coast of look, right down the center. So it should be right here, coming straight down the center. It's not there. They removed it. But when the mind's blind, the eyes can't see.
The firmament that humanity lives under is your own brain and skull. Why? Break down the word firmament. Firmament. Mental. Mind. The firmament you live underneath is your skull and brain. That's the dome that you live underneath. Because you are not your body. You are the invisible creational being inside your mind, the person who thinks. You have a person outside your mind and you have a person inside your mind. This person who's outside the mind will die. But the person who thinks in your mind is eternal and will always be eternal. So the firmament is the brain. That's the dome. Because your body is the earth. You're experiencing a simulation right now produced by your nervous system. Your nervous system is running the simulation. All of your 5 senses are decoded by your brain, and you experience, you see, you touch, you taste, you hear with your brain. And that's just running a simulation to your consciousness.
My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Now I've given you enough time to answer my question, and none was given. So I'm going to tell you, do you know what you're looking at? You're looking at a giant-sized organ. Oh, you son of a bitch. Just have a look at what a normal-sized organ looks like. Just take a look at the pillars. It's a small-sized version of this. These structures was never meant to be a church or a cathedral. We used to use sound and frequency to help heal and open up our chakras. It's in the name, organ. The purpose of this is in relation to our organs. Just look at the design of the roof. Nobody's doing this for no reason. Everything that was done was for a strategic purpose. This organ in Spain, built by the Moors for the purpose of healing a nation. So when they tell you that they don't know who built these buildings, and when they tell you that these buildings was founded, I've come to let you know that these buildings belong to the Moors.
So your blood type will tell you exactly what needs to go in your physiology?
Yep. Some people, you gotta eat meat. You can't practice a vegan diet. Everybody don't have the ability to tap into that energy whatsoever because their genetic format is not hardwired for that dietary system. So, for instance, my good friend Billy Carson, he said that he went sick really bad about being a vegan. So everybody can't acclimate themselves to that dietary system. The blood is the blueprint. The blood is the blueprint of the matrix. Because if you understand your blood, you can break the matrix. So that's why they don't tell a lot of black people about their blood types. They don't want you to know that you O negative, because that's the blood type of the Anunnaki. Because it's original. It's the original blood type. It's the original architect of the universe. That's the original blood type. That is connected to the mitochondrial Eve gene.
So in the early 1900s, Sears sold homes as a kit. They would actually deliver it to you by train, and you could have local contractors build it for you. Imagine how that would help out the housing crisis in modern times if we can just order a house at an affordable price. I mean, the early 1900s were amazing, and the ingenuity and the techniques they had with housing Americans and just basically living was outstanding.
Many years ago, I owned a historic home. It was built in 1920. It had 12-foot ceilings, yellow pine molding around the windows, along the floor and the ceiling. It had pocket windows with counterweights within the walls, and French doors with glass door handles. It was really cool. And guess what? It was purchased from a catalog by the original owners at the time. In the basement, you could actually see the beams with the numbers on them to show how it was assembled. It was awesome stuff. Have you ever lived in a house like that? Did you know there were houses like that? Welcome along, fellow time travelers. This time around, we're going to talk about the story of Sears catalog homes, officially known as Sears Modern Homes. It was a fascinating chapter in American architectural and retail history. So let's begin our journey. From 1908 to 1940, Sears, Roebuck & Company, a company already renowned for its expansive mail-order catalog, ventured into selling entire houses that customers could order, receive, and assemble. These homes, delivered as kits via railroad, offered an innovative solution to the housing needs of a growing nation, blending affordability, convenience, and modern design. Over the 34-year span of the program, Sears sold between 70,000 and 75,000 homes, leaving a lasting legacy across the United States. In this video, I'm going to explore the history of the Sears catalog homes. I'm going to detail how they were ordered, their costs, assembly process, quality, primary buyers, their connection to mill towns, delivery methods, durability, and, of course, their competition. The Sears Modern Homes program began in 1908. Though the concept of kit homes wasn't entirely new, companies like Aladdin in Michigan had already pioneered the idea by 1906. Sears entered the market under the leadership of Frank W. Cushel, a manager tasked with reviving the company's struggling building materials department. His solution was to bundle surplus inventory into complete house kits, complete with blueprints, and sell them through the Sears catalog. That year, Sears published its first specialty catalog, the Book of Modern Homes and Building Plans, featuring 44 house designs, ranging from simple cottages to larger family homes. Ordering a Sears home was straightforward, reflecting the company's mastery of mail-order logistics. Customers browsed the catalog, which grew to offer over 370 designs by 1940, each with evocative names like Starlight, Crescent, or Magnolia. Prices were listed alongside detailed descriptions and illustrations. Buyers selected their preferred model, sent payment, often a check or money order, to Sears via mail, and provided a delivery address, typically near a railroad station. Customization was possible. Buyers could request design alterations or submit their own blueprints, which Sears staff would adapt into a kit. By 1911, Sears sweetened the deal by offering financing, requiring only a 25% down payment and interest rates of 6% to 7% over 5 to 15 years, making homeownership accessible to a broader audience. Widely depending on size, style, and features. In 1908, prices started at $360. Now, don't get too excited. That was about $12,599 today, adjusted for inflation. Hey, wait a minute, that's still a good deal. But anyway, that was for a basic model and topped out at $2,890, which would be about $102,000 today. Righteous bucks, but still a good deal, for more elaborate designs. By the 1920s, popular models like the Valonia ranged from $744 to $1,998. Well, there's a good deal, right? Wow, it's not even $2,000. For $1,998, how could you go wrong? That's a deal. While the luxurious Magnolia, a 10-room mansion, sold for $5,140 to $5,972 in 1918. These prices covered the kit itself, pre-cut lumber, nails, windows, doors, roofing, hardware, and paint. And of course, it excluded land, labor, and utilities like plumbing and electricity, which were available as add-ons. Either way, what a good deal for anybody who's listening who's a contractor. How much building materials are actual waste? And how much time is spent cutting things to size? I mean, let's be honest, shall we? This was a pretty good deal, and I gotta tell you, my house was really nice. I mean, it was very well made. That I can tell you. I mean, the windows still had the original glass in it from 1920. Sears homes were affordable because of mass production and innovative construction techniques. The company owned lumber mills in Illinois and New Jersey and a millwork plant in Ohio, allowing it to cut costs by producing materials in-house. Techniques like balloon frame construction, drywall, and asphalt shingles further reduced expenses, especially when buyers or local contractors provided labor. This affordability made Sears homes a revolutionary option for middle-class families, particularly during the post-World War I housing boom. Once ordered, a Sears home arrived as a kit containing roughly 30,000 pieces and weighing about 25 tons. Delivery was phased to manage storage. The first shipment included lumber and nails for the frame, followed by millwork, which was, doors and windows and trim, and finally hardware and furnishings. Buyers were responsible for transporting materials from the railroad station to their building site, often by wagon or truck. Assembly varied depending on the buyer's resources. Sears claimed that someone with basic carpentry skills could assemble a home in 90 days, likening it to a massive do-it-yourself project akin to a barn raising. Instructions were detailed, and after 1916, pre-cut lumber was stamped with letter number codes corresponding to blueprints, simplifying the process. Many buyers, however, hired local contractors or enlisted friends and family to help. In some cases, Sears offered construction services, and companies occasionally bought kits to build speculative homes or employee housing. The result was a collaborative effort that turned a pile of parts into a finished house. Sears marketed its homes as high quality, durable, and modern, a promise largely upheld by their construction. The kits use premium materials like cedar shingles, cypress siding, and oak trim in higher-end, honor-built models, while even budget, simplex sectional options were sturdy despite simpler designs. Features like central heating, indoor plumbing, and electricity, luxuries at the time, were standard in many models, earning them the modern homes moniker. The use of balloon framing and pre-cut lumber ensured structural integrity and ease of assembly. The quality varied by model tier. Honor-built homes boasted superior insulation and finishes, while standard-built and simplex sectional options were less robust, suited for warmer climates or temporary use. Despite these differences, Sears homes were built to last, with many surviving over a century due to their solid materials and practical design. Sears homes appealed primarily to middle-class families, particularly in the East Coast and Midwest, where rail access was widespread. Returning World War I veterans seeking affordable housing during the 1920s boom were a key demographic, as were rural and suburban dwellers, transitioning from tenancy to ownership. The financing option further broadened their reach, welcoming buyers excluded from traditional bank loans due to race, gender, or financial status. Mill towns and industrial communities also embrace Sears homes. Companies like Standard Oil in Carlinville, Illinois, ordered 156 kits in 1917 to house coal miners, creating entire neighborhoods of Sears homes, 152 of which still stand. These bulk purchases addressed housing shortages near factories, mines, or lumber camps, blending corporate efficiency with Sears's affordability. Individual buyers in such towns like lumberjacks or factory workers also ordered kits, drawn by the promise of a modern, self-built home. Railroads were the backbone of Sears's delivery system. Kits were shipped in boxcars from manufacturing plants in Illinois or other regional hubs to the nearest station, often requiring multiple cars per home. Buyers then hauled the materials to their site. This method leveraged Sears's existing catalog distribution network, ensuring homes reached even remote areas from Florida to Alaska. Sears's homes have proven remarkably durable. Enthusiasts estimate that 70% of the 70,000 plus homes sold still stand today, a testament to their quality. Many retain original features: stamped lumber, built-in cabinets, hardwood floors, preserved in towns like Elgin, Illinois, where economic stagnation spared them from modernization. Listed on the National Register of Historic Places, some fetch high prices, like a Martha Washington model sold for over $1 million in 2016. Their longevity reflects both robust construction and the care of subsequent owners. Now, as you can imagine, Sears was not alone in the kit home market. Aladdin, the pioneer, offered similar products, while Montgomery Ward entered the fray in 1921, lasting a decade. Other competitors included smaller firms across the U.S. and Canada, but Sears dominated thanks to its massive catalog reach. 20% of Americans subscribed by the 1920s, and vertical integration of production. The Great Depression and World War II material shortages ended the program in 1940, though Sears briefly continued sales into 1942. Competitors like Aladdin survived longer by avoiding Sears's ill-fated mortgage venture, which led to $11 million in defaults and a public relations fiasco. Sears catalog homes revolutionized housing by blending mail-order convenience with quality design, delivering the American dream to tens of thousands. Ordered through a simple catalog process, shipped by train, and assembled by owners or contractors, these homes offered affordability and modernity at a time of rapid change. Their durability ensures they remain a cherished part of the American landscape, outlasting competitors and economic upheavals. From mill towns to suburbs, Sears Modern Homes stand as a monument to ingenuity, resilience, and the power of mass consumption in shaping a nation. So, what do you think of kid homes? Either by Sears or Aladdin or anybody else? If you had the dough and wanted to buy a house, would you buy one through a catalog? You know I would. Have you ever lived in any of these types of kid homes? Or do you know anybody who has? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Kindly remember to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Please check out the links below to learn how to support my research and productions. Kindly be kind.
Okay, you guys, these Epstein files are out of control, so we're gonna break down everything we've seen thus far. Okay, first, let's start with Obama's former chief White House counsel, Kathy Ruemiller, and a very eerie, very suspicious email with her and Epstein. Now they're communicating back and forth in this email, but at the bottom of this email gets really weird. And I quote, she says, "Yes, I will be like the doctor at Lenox Hill, put that crazy in room 1, gunshot in surgery, and the cook, well, he can wait." You guys, remember Obama's chef who worked at the White House and who died at Obama's house? Could they be talking about him? Now, being that email was from 2014, saying the cook can wait, you mean like 9 years later wait, where he actually died in 2023? Yeah, that's suspicious. Gets even wilder though. So, we have an email from 2018 with Jeffrey Epstein and his brother, Mark Epstein, in which Mark is asking, buckle up, he says, does Putin still have the pictures of Trump blowing Bubba, aka Bill Clinton? Bro, what? Okay, even if this is even remotely true, how relevant would this picture be that they found in Epstein's house of Bill Clinton in a blue dress, in which Monica Lewinsky was in a blue dress just like this when she blew him? This is giving way to the biggest blackmail ring of all time, but let's keep going. Now, if we weren't completely off the rails, this is gonna take us there because there's an email stating that he was into bioengineering and genetics, specifically black people. And I quote, "You might be able to make blacks smarter by changing the time for the motor layer development and changing the time for other layers." Then he states their brains are slower at learning high level concepts, in which he's giving way to slavery being that muscle twitch. For slaves, we're faster, so we're stronger, jump higher than the white people were thinking all day, basically, and making them smarter under pressure over time. Now, not only he was into bioengineering and genetics, and he had his own office at Harvard called Jeffrey's Office, but he had close ties to MIT, in which he had very close ties to this guy, Marvin Minsky, who was the co-founder of MIT's AI laboratories, and they call the father of AI. I mean, it really takes the guesswork out of why he was trafficking people besides blackmail. You wanted to experiment on people like a test lab rat. Now, this part totally makes sense, where the head morgue manager of Harvard pled guilty earlier this year for selling body parts online. Does anybody want to take a wild guess who he was working for? Epstein he was working for. Now, there's a whole lot more, so I'm gonna do a part 2. Make sure you guys get into my Telegram. We're just getting started.